morning. My name is Kelly McCormick, and I'm the new Director of Events and Programming here at the Portland Regional Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to Growth Basics for Business, a monthly breakfast seminar series that provides a forum to gain useful, do-it-yourself workplace solutions and insightful, actionable tips. Today is our fourth event in the 2025-26 series, and I want to thank you all for joining us this morning. Today's topic, Marketing Smarts in the Age of AI, is presented by Alexis Crawford, main program coordinator of the Phoenix, and will explore how small businesses can use artificial intelligence to work smarter, not harder, across sales, marketing, and customer experience. Like all Chamber virtual signature events, today's presentation is free and is being recorded. It will be made available for free replay on the Chamber's website and YouTube page. To keep up to date on all the Chamber news and events, visit our website, portlandregion.com. Check out our events page, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and sign up for our weekly email newsletter while you're there. Before we begin today's program, I just want to remind everyone that we're using a platform called StreamYard. This platform provides improved production and interactive elements that enhance virtual events. If you have any questions for Alexis, our presenter today, you can type them in the YouTube chat through the presentation. Alexis will answer them when appropriate during her training, and we've reserved time at the end of the presentation for a Q&A session. All this to say, please do interact with us this morning and ask questions via the YouTube chat. With that, I will hand things over to Alexis.
Thank you very much, Kelly. I greatly appreciate that. And thank you to the Portland Chamber of Commerce for allowing me to present today. So today I'm going to be talking about marketing smarts in the age of AI. And before we begin, I would love to talk a little bit about who I am and why I understand this topic. I am the program coordinator for the Phoenix based in Maine. The Phoenix is a national sober active nonprofit. We offer free activities to people in recovery. Those activities are available in the Portland area, Bangor, and in York as well. We have yoga, CrossFit, roller skating, ice skating. So check out thephoenix.org to learn more about us. All of our activities are free to people in recovery, family members, and supporters of people in recovery. So I bet you're all wondering, why is a nonprofit talking about marketing smarts in the age of AI? When I moved to Portland about 3 years ago, I had to start growing the Phoenix community from a very small base to a larger base. And in order to do that, I leaned heavily on marketing to help grow our volunteers, get more locations for our events, and get people to attend our events. And as you can imagine, in a nonprofit environment, we have little budget and little time. So I really needed to lean on AI to help me make my job easier and work smarter. And in addition to that, I have about 20 years of digital marketing experience in HubSpot, marketing automation, email marketing, data analysis, and content as well. And don't forget social media, which we'll talk about today. So I'm hoping today's presentation will provide you with practical, doable marketing best practices while using AI. I really want to make sure that you're able to walk away with practical tools that you can use. But before we begin, I would like to start by taking a poll from the audience. I would love to know, on a scale of 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with using AI for marketing? 1 being not comfortable, haven't done anything. 3 being, I'm still trying to understand it. And 5, I'm an expert. I totally get it. I just want to learn new things today. So please take a moment to jump into the chat and write whether or not you're on a scale of 1 to 5. And I'm going to give everybody a couple of seconds to type this information in. And feel free to add comments if you want as well. I'd love to read those out too. So we're getting some 3s and 4s, which is fantastic. Don't be shy, everybody. Feel free to type into the chat. Be greatly appreciated. All right, so we have about 3s and 4s, so that's good to hear. So starting off with kind of setting the stage for AI. When AI first came about, this was a pretty good time ago. IBM first came out with Watson. That was like one of the big AI tools. A lot of people were excited about it. It was in the news. It showcased everywhere. But there was no practical way for people to use AI when it first came out. It was a tool that big companies were using, but not everyday people. And then around 2002 is when ChatGPT came out with their tool. And as people started to use it more regularly and more often, you actually saw people start to fear AI. And the reason they feared AI was because they were worried that it was going to take their job. There were some naysayers out there that said AI is going to take everybody's jobs. But I strongly believe, and so does the CEO of NVIDIA, that AI will not take our jobs. AI used by somebody else will take your job. So this is why I highly recommend you start embracing AI in your everyday job, not just to make your job easier, but also to improve your marketing. When I was out in California attending HubSpot's inbound conference, is really when the rubber met the road, literally, for me around AI. And the reason was in San Francisco, there are AI cars everywhere. The Waymo self-driving cars, they have AI in the background, they have sensors, they have cameras. And after a discussion with a few people that were with me, I said, you know what, let's do this. Let's see what a self-driving car is like. So we went ahead and scheduled one. And the first thing when I got in the car was fear. It was, oh my goodness, there's no one behind the steering wheel. How is it going to know where to go and what to do? As I looked around the car, I saw there was cameras all in the car. There were speakers in the car. And then there was a screen that helped me see everything around me, behind the car, in front of the car. And that was figures of people moving, animals walking down the road, people pushing strollers, etc. And I could understand where everything was and not get scared of knowing that this car was going to stop when it needed to, turn corners when it needed to, because it was using a lot of different information to drive itself through AI. And this is where I started to understand as I sat in that car and just let go of control. So this is a big part of it, is letting go of control. I let go of control and I started really getting to know that I got more time back in my day. I could turn around and have a conversation with the person behind me. I could get on my phone and control the music. I could also check my work emails. So this also gave more time back to me. So think of people who have 45-minute commutes, an hour-long commutes. They are able to have more time in their day to do what they need to, and they can just let go of that control and trust the AI. So that was a huge turning point for me. So as I said, in November 2022, when ChatGPT was launched, we found that marketing started to shift, and it was slow at first, as it wasn't adopted very quickly by everybody. But what we're starting to see with marketing is that content is being produced at a faster pace. We're able to produce copy rapidly without even having to sit down and write out entire blog posts. We can feed it into an engine and it produces a blog post for you. It also will produce images and campaigns. We've also seen that it's enhanced customer experience. For example, one of the hospitals in Maine actually has embraced AI technology. So when people call to make appointments or pay bills, it's all done through AI, which enhances customer experience. It also allows for automating routine tasks. Gone are the days of writing a long email response. You can actually quickly respond to an email, and it takes away from those repetitive routine tasks. Because I don't know about you, but I have over 60 emails in my inbox every single day. And then lastly, where marketing is changing with AI is around data. So I spend a lot of time working on quarterly reports and annual reports for my clients and for the Phoenix. And I know that this takes a lot of my time. So being able to feed all that data into an engine that quickly produces insights saves me a lot of time within my day. And I strongly believe that since AI has really taken off in November 2022, more consumers are embracing it. And you can see that more consumers are embracing it because of the changes of shopping indicators around Black Friday. So this past Black Friday, we saw that 25% of all Black Friday shopping was sourced from AI. So this was your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister going into Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, or Perplexity and typing in different questions to come up with ideas for holiday shopping, and then going to those websites and purchasing straight from AI. And where this comes in monetarily, and I think is very interesting, is $3 billion of the $11 billion spent on just Black Friday alone came from AI. That's a very, very big number. So if you think of the small amount of time that it's really taken off and how much money has been spent, it's going to just continue to grow incrementally. And I find it very interesting. So, as I promised, I'm going to be providing you with some very practical tools for AI today. But before we dive right in, I really want you to think about your core principles of marketing. And this is really important because we're going to be using those core principles throughout the different tools. So, as you know, as a marketer, marketing starts with a good foundation. So it's really essential before you sign up for a tool or you play around with a tool, you need to take a step back, grab a piece of paper, and start working on the marketing fundamentals for your brand. So in the first box, you will see it's important that you start with your messaging and your brand voice. So take that piece of paper and write down, who do you serve? What is the problem you solve? And why are you different? Being super precise about this, writing this down on a piece of paper will actually help you cut through the noise. This is really, really important to start with. Then, as you think about who you serve, you need to think about where they are. What social media channels are they on? Do they use email marketing? Would they be going on Google or Bing to look up your company? Would they be clicking on PPC advertising? So what are the channels that are relevant to them? From there, you need to think about your customer journey. So your customer journey starts with awareness, consideration, conversion, and loyalty. What are the different stages of that customer journey? Are they spending more time in the consideration phase or more time in the awareness stage? What is that journey for your customer? And then most importantly, and please don't forget about this step, you need to take a step back and think about what are your key performance indicators for success? So, is it that you want to get more bookings on your website for a roof installation? Or do you need more people to show up to your events? Do you need more people to schedule headshots? What are the different types of activities that you want people to take? And what is your goal with those? So take some time to write all that down before you even get started with your AI usage. Now that you've set a good foundation for AI, I'm going to talk about 7 different tools that you can start using today. I'm going to caveat that with pick one tool. Don't do all tools at once because you will get overwhelmed. At the end of today's presentation, I will be giving you kind of a game plan of where to start. So don't worry about memorizing any of these tools. We are going to provide the slides after the presentation as well. So you don't need to take a screenshot. So the first tool I want to talk about is your LLMs, so your generative engines, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity. There are many, many different tools out there. Everybody has different preferences. I'm a ChatGPT fan just because that's what I've always used and I love it. But what I think super important is the tool is only as good as what you put into it. So you have to be super specific on your prompts. And for those who don't know what a prompt is a set of instructions you give the tool to give you information back. So what I've put on the screen here is 7 different prompts that every marketer should be using. And as you read through these different prompts on the screen, you'll see this is why I had you take a step back and think about your messaging and your foundation and who you want to serve and what KPIs you have, because you have to know all that to put that information into these tools. So the one prompt I want to talk about is prompt number 6. I actually picked a chamber member, and hopefully they're attending today's presentation. The chamber member is Horch Roofing. And what I did was I took one of their blog posts and I said, break this blog post into 3 formats: a 90-second LinkedIn post format, a short email teaser, and a 5-frame Instagram carousel. And I included the link to the blog post. And as you can see on the screen, it gave me that information back that I asked for. Where I think you need to be super specific is in your response to what you're providing. So say I wasn't a huge fan of this talking about storm damage, so the response, so the 90-second LinkedIn post, I could say, could you change it to winter storm damage or ice storm damage or ice dam damage? So you can be very specific, and the more you feed information into it and the more you ask of it, the better it gets. It's taking time. That's why it's called a language learning model, is it is actually learning from you. So definitely take some time to be very specific. And I learned a fun fact the other day from my stepson is if you type in please and thank you into ChatGPT or any of the engines, it actually uses more energy. So be very cognizant of how much you're asking your ChatGPT engines please and thank you, because you use more energy doing so, which I think is really funny. Moving on from the AI engines out there, I want to talk about Canva. So Canva is a browser-based design tool. And this has really revolutionized the design industry in the sense that gone are the days of those heavy, heavy Adobe tools sitting on your desktop, dragging down your computer to update an Illustrator file or a PSD or anything like that. This is a simple tool that you can use to create social media post images, to create flyers, to create Christmas cards, etc. Every single image that Phoenix uses actually comes from Canva. And it has made my life way easier because I'm not going to lie, I am not a designer. And one of the things that is really hard for marketers and in marketing is sourcing images. We have a really hard time finding the perfect image for our marketing because they get really expensive. There are tools out there that can cost up to $6,000 an image to $100 an image. And with the tool of AI, you can actually ask Canva AI to produce an image for you. So what I did was I actually asked Canva to create an image of people smiling and working out and very happy. And it produced 3 or 4 different images for me that I could use. I do want to note a couple of very important things. When you use AI to produce your images, you need to double check the images. The reason is there can be hallucinations that actually make the images really weird. For example, I had an image where it was roller skating and there was a woman with an extra foot. And then there was a person with an extra arm. So be very careful about that. Fun fact, J. Crew did a whole vintage campaign and they used AI, and unfortunately nobody double checked the images and there was a woman sitting with a foot backwards. So this is where I think it's super, super important that you take some time to double check the images, make sure everything looks okay, because you really don't want to produce any marketing that has a person whose arm is backwards or has an extra lip. But to be quite honest with you, since 2022, it's gotten way better. Just be super cognizant. Another thing Canva AI can do is produce designs for me. So if I don't have the time to design something, I can actually ask the AI to do it for me. So here's what I did. We actually have a holiday party on Saturday, and I said, produce a festive Phoenix cookie holiday card. And within 5 seconds, it produced the card. It included some language and it had some really great pictures of a phoenix and cookies. So I could take this foundation of a design, copy the design, and then make the changes that I want to through Canva's easy drag and drop interface. This saves me so much time and so much energy and my brain power in the sense that I honestly am not a good designer. So to start with a good foundation is super helpful. Moving on to marketing automation. So for those who don't know what HubSpot is a marketing automation and customer relationship management tool. It's really great for email marketing, social media, sales, so creating deals, etc. And it has really good reporting. But one of their AI tools that I'm a huge, huge fan of is the HubSpot AI tool. And again, like I said earlier, when you need to create that foundation of who you are, who you serve, and what you're looking for, this is where the tool asks you that. So it says, what is the goal or the action for recipients? Who is your target audience? And what are you looking to do? So having that information and being able to feed it into this AI tool is very helpful. From there, it produces an email campaign. It can be from a new design or some images that you've uploaded. And within, I'd say, 2 minutes, it produces the email for you. And all you have to do is change that tool. I'm going to take a quick second to see if anybody has any questions in the audience at this point in time. I know there's a lot of tools and a lot of information out there, so please don't hesitate to jump in, ask questions. I'll take them as they come in. Other tools within HubSpot are AI agents. So agents are kind of like a chatbot that you can feed information into and it'll provide information back to you, but they're very specific. So for example, HubSpot has agents such as a customer agent, a data agent, a prospecting agent, and a social agent. The prospecting agent actually helps you come up with emails to send to your prospects that you're looking to market to. And the social agent produces social media posts for you. So the other day I was trying to come up with a bunch of social media posts for the Phoenix. I fed those posts into the social agent and it automatically created them for me. With a little prompting, a little finessing, I was able to get where I wanted to be, but it was a very valuable tool. And then the most important tool that I love in HubSpot is called Company Research Agent. So what this tool does is it goes out onto the web and it goes into your CRM and it pulls together a complete profile of a certain company you want information for. So one company that is a chamber member I used, Horch Roofing. And what I did was I gave it their website and I said, please tell me everything you can about this company. And what it did was it gave me, some key information. So they have seasonal demand. They are all about community outreach. And it also gave me a unique outreach angle. So if I wanted to reach out to them, I could use that angle to reach out to them based on philanthropy, because that's something they really focus on. It also gave me more information about how many employees they have, where they're located, are they privately held, etc. So it's a really nice tool to help provide me more information on the people I'm looking to market to. From there, this is really shifting gears, but this is a really helpful tool that I used this past weekend. So this past weekend, we had a volunteer for the Phoenix win Volunteer of the Month. And I went to the rock climbing gym called Evo, and I shot a video of this person talking about being Volunteer of the Month. The biggest problem was it was so loud in there. There were people climbing walls. There was music. There was people lifting weights. It was really, really loud, and there was a lot of background noise. And we didn't have a lot of flexibility around taking this video because he was busy helping people rock climb. But we were able to get the video. And when I got home, I found this tool called Veed.io. I fed the video into the tool, and it easily cleaned up all the background noise. It took out every single piece of background noise and was able to focus on this volunteer's voice. It also allowed me to remove filler words. It allowed me to remove the background. I had many different options, which was really nice. And this tool, Veed.io, is actually super inexpensive. It's $18 a month for like the basic starter plan, and that's all I needed. And it probably saved me like 45 minutes of trying to manually splice the video and pull out the pieces of loud music. So it was super nice. And then I was able to download the video and upload it into Canva and make a really nice video to put on social media. And this video has actually had over 200 views recently. So I'm very happy with how it came out due to AI. Another tool that I recommend is using Grammarly. So a lot of people know Grammarly as I would say a spell checker or a tool that helps check your grammar, but it's also really great from an AI perspective. You can use it to help you brainstorm content. So for example, I put into Grammarly, provide me with some seed questions for today's webinar. And with a couple more prompts, it was able to give me a really nice list of seed questions for today's webinar. So this is really good if you want to come up with some blog post ideas, or you want to create a video script or anything like that, etc. So the next thing I want to talk about is Gamma.app. So this is the last tool I'm going to show you, and then we'll talk about search engine optimization. But Gamma.app is is a PowerPoint presentation tool. It's browser-based as well. The free version is pretty good, to be quite honest with you. You really don't need to do much more with it. And what it does is it not only helps generate content for your presentations, it also produces really nice images. So gone are the days of dragging and dropping clip art in or anything like that. Gamma quickly produces really nice imagery for your presentations. And as you can see, on the right-hand side, I use this for today's presentation. Of course, most of the content's my own, but what's really nice is it saved me so much time having to put different images in, move content in different areas. It was a really great tool that I could use. And you can see on the screen, I said, put together a slide on the changing landscape of search engine optimization and the top 3 important things to know. And you'll see that later in the presentation, that specific slide, but this is going to cut down your time. This is going to cut down your, cut down on the effort that you need to put into this. And then it is going to make your life easier. So now that I've given you a bunch of tools, don't worry, you don't have to remember them all. I want to talk about the changing landscape of search engine optimization. So search engine optimization, so that's when you type into Google or Bing things that you're looking for, has changed. And it's changed because of AI. And why I bring this up is because it's super important for your marketing to understand how it's changing, because this is going to affect you immensely, especially if you want to show up in search engines. So what they've done is they've shifted from SEO, search engine optimization, to GEO, generative engine optimization. And what that means is instead of getting a list of links, so you're typing in a specific question and it's giving you a list of links, now it's actually giving you a paragraph of information. And this has really changed how websites are working, because what we're seeing is less impressions for websites, more impressions for websites and less clicks onto websites. And what that means is those people who are clicking to your website are more informed and are really more interested in your company because they've spent some time in that AI overview learning about you. So because of this changing landscape, it's super important that you focus on a few more things for your website. First and foremost, you need to make sure you're producing more authentic content. So content that is relevant to your brand, content that is essential to your brand. So blog posts, FAQs are super, super important. In addition to that, I would highly recommend focusing on other areas that your brand is mentioned. So Yelp, your Google business profile, press releases, getting posted on listicles, other websites that mention your brand are going to be very important. So because this is changing the landscape, I highly recommend you spend some time focusing on your website and how it appears in those different engines. So by putting in different prompts, see where you show up. HubSpot has a really good AEO grader tool that helps you know kind of where your website's showing up. One example I want to show you that's a real life example, which I'm a big fan of, is how Horch Roofing showed up on the AI engine or the AI overview for Google. So I typed in, I need my roof fixed in Warren, Maine. Who do I contact? And right away, what it did was it said, for roof repair in Warren, Maine, you can contact local, highly rated companies such as Horch Roofing, Tri-State Roofing, and Greenleaf Roofing. And you'll see it gave me all the information about those 3 companies. And then on the right-hand side, it gave me links to Yelp, the Horch Roofing website, and Yelp again. So as I said, you need to spend more time making sure your website is authentic, making sure your content's authentic, and you are on many different areas as well, such as Yelp, Google Business Profile. Social media is super important. So posting on social media is going to help build the authority of your website so that you show up when you put in a prompt about your business. Okay. So now that I've spent some time walking you through those different tools, I want to talk a little bit about where I think the future of AI in marketing is going. So I strongly believe that AI is not a fad. It is not going away, and it's going to continue to evolve. And one area I think that's going to change and grow immensely so is the AI engines, AI agents. We're going to find that a lot more companies are using AI agents on their website for customer service, purchasing, paying bills, etc. And there's going to be more agents out there that are very specific about what you're looking for. In addition to that, I feel like as marketers, we're going to start to embrace agents more. I actually feel that agents are going to be available for people specifically. So you're going to start to think of your AI tool that you use, ChatGPT, as your specific agent that knows you, knows what you're interested, and gives you information that you're looking for on a regular basis. The next thing that I think is going to change is AI is going to help make our websites more personalized. So at this moment, you have the ability to cookie someone, and that cookie will surface content relevant to them. But I strongly feel that as AI start to integrate more with websites, those AI tools are going to be able to help websites surface better content for people coming to your website and make it more tailored to them and providing them with a more unique experience. In addition to that, I do feel like it's going to change the imagery on the website based on when they show up. And I feel like the tools that are using AI to build websites are going to get better. Right now, there are a bunch of tools out there that you can use to build websites. They're good. They're not great, but I honestly feel like they're going to get a lot better. From there, reporting is going to get better. It's not 100% perfect. It's not fantastic, but I do feel like it's going to be more real time, and it's going to save us a lot more time. And then lastly, and I think this is super important, is the landscape of ethics in AI and privacy is going to change a lot. Since I've been working on this presentation, the ethics and the legal behind AI has actually changed in the United States. So originally, New York City came out with its own law around how you can use AI for predictive pricing. And then yesterday, the President of the United States actually said there are no state-by-state laws for AI anymore. The laws are going to be federal, and they're going to be come down from the federal government on who can do what with AI. So I think that's very interesting to see how this is going to change. So that's where I think we need to be very cognizant and pay attention. So now that I've talked about what the tools are, how you can use them, the changing landscape of search and optimization, and where I think AI is going, I want to put in some essential reminders for you as marketers using AI. First and foremost, AI is your co-pilot. It is not autopilot. You have to be very careful about what you put into AI and what you get out of it, because if you go on autopilot with it, you can make a lot of mistakes. Along with that, always verify the outputs. Fact check everything that you're provided from your AI tools. There are actually a bunch of lawyers who got in hot water because they ended up using some fake cases as examples when they were presenting in court, and they weren't real. So be very, very careful about what AI feeds you and make sure that information's correct. Guard your brand voice. Make sure that that piece of paper you have with you that talks about your brand voice is always brought up every time you're using AI. Make sure you're focusing on your brand guidelines, your tone, your messaging, and make sure it's consistent and authentic. Again, authenticity is super important when it comes to your marketing. And then last but not least, be very, very careful about the data. So if you are using any AI engine to manipulate data, you need to make sure you have a private account for that AI engine, because if you're not paying for the tool will actually take that information and use it anywhere else. So be very, very careful. If you are an organization such as a medical company or even a dentist who has PII or HIPAA, compliancy, you need to make sure that you're checking with your legal team before you're putting anything out into that AI tool. Super important. So now that I've provided you with a ton of information, I'm going to give you a framework of what you can do in the next week. Then I'm going to give you a framework of what you can do over the next couple months. So first and foremost, write down your foundational marketing information. Who you want to serve, what's your unique message, where do you want to serve them, what are your KPIs? That's super important. From there, pick one tool. Just pick one tool to play around with. Set a goal for that tool. What is that tool going to help you? Is it going to save you X hours? Is it going to help your email open rates? Is it going to produce more content on a regular basis, 10 blog posts a month? Make sure that is a specific goal, and then commit to learning 30 minutes daily for the next 2 weeks. When you commit to that learning, make sure you're coming back to that goal and you are making sure you're accomplishing that goal. And then once you start small by picking that one tool, you can move on to your weeks 2 and 3. So test and learn, experiment with prompts, measure results, refine your approach, and document what works best for your brand voice. So you may find that Grammarly is fantastic for your brand voice, or you may find that ChatGPT is the best for your brand voice. It's going to be preference. Everybody has a different thing that they like. When you get into month 2, maybe add another month 2, maybe add another tool or a use case for using that tool. Maybe you play around with email automation. So use AI to produce an email for you, or you implement a chatbot on your website for customer service. And then when you get to month 3, I want you to take a step back and look at whether or not you've accomplished the goals you were looking for with those tools and whether or not it has worked for you. Did it save you time? Did it not save you time? Really understand whether or not it was valuable for you, and then go from there. So to kind of take a moment to recap what we've learned today, AI is transformative. It is changing the marketing industry. It is changing how buyers shop. It is changing how you show up on Google and Bing. So you need to make sure you're embracing tools to help make your life easier. From that, ensure that AI is your co-pilot and you are not on autopilot. You still have to be the human in the situation and double check everything, because AI can hallucinate. Prioritize ethics and quality. So make sure you're ethically using your AI tool. Make sure you're being transparent about the tool, especially if you're doing hiring. You need to be very transparent of whether or not you're using AI to check resumes or anything like that. That's super important. And then last but not least, the most important thing that I want to put in front of you is start small. Set clear goals, scale strategically, and be open to continuous learning, because AI is going to continue to affect our lives. It's going to continue to change the way we work. And if you don't do that, you're going to be left behind. So with that, I'm going to open it up to any questions. I know Kelly and Riley are available to help me. Oh, let's see. Okay, we have a question. How can I decide what to try and send to AI first? I'm a fairly new user. Are there certain tasks you find easier to transition and get started? That's a good question. So I would pick one tool. For example, maybe take a ChatGPT and just have a conversation with ChatGPT. Maybe ask it some specific questions about your company or your brand or even your market to get some information from that tool. From there, I would ask it to do things for you. Come up with a email marketing plan. Come up with some social media posts. Start small in your questions and have it help you accomplish those routine tasks that will make your life easier. Any other questions from the audience? Kelly, did you have any questions from the audience that you wanted to throw in there? Oh, here's one.
I just popped one in the chat
Oh,
box.
thank you. Okay. What is the big difference between the different AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini? Honestly, I don't think there's much of a big difference, to be quite honest with you. Well, actually, so this is interesting. So 2 weeks ago, ChatGPT, OpenAI sent out a statement. Sam from the company sent out a statement saying, "Code red, Gemini is eating our lunch." And we need to get better. Drop all low priority tasks and focus on making our engine better. And so what they're starting to see is because Google has many more ways of, generating revenue, and they don't need to worry about burning cash on building their engines and making them better. They actually have been able to get leaps and bounds ahead of ChatGPT, and so ChatGPT is trying to catch up, which is very interesting. So I would say right now, the biggest difference is that Gemini is a lot smarter because they have a lot more money and they have a lot more cash to burn. They also have a huge engine of information out there because they all know about your websites. They know everything about your pay-per-click advertising. They know everything from your Google business profile. So that's where the difference is.
And in terms of brand voice, would you say, is there a way to like pre-populate or feed it or provide prompts around your brand voice and identity so that you're not losing it? And do the systems learn over time?
They do learn over time. I recommend that you produce that brand voice documents that we talk about and feed that into the engine so it knows everything about you. And be specific and say, here is my brand voice document. This is everything about my customers and prospects. Learn all this information, and anything I ask you from now on, keep this information in mind. The more specific you are with that prompt, the better it's going to be because it's learning from you. But don't be afraid to kind of push back on it if it gives you something that's not relevant. You definitely need to say, that's not correct. That is not relevant to my brand. Please go back and refer to this document because it does hallucinate and sometimes it goes off on its own tangents. So try and make sure that you're being very cognizant of the information it's feeding you.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions, Kelly? Anybody else from the audience?
Anyone in the audience? So if everyone were to take just one action this week, where would you recommend they start?
Sit down with a piece of paper and write down your marketing foundations. That's where I would start, and maybe even take that piece of paper and write down what tool you're going to play around with so that you just have it kind of committed to memory that you're going to be working on that. I think that's the best course of action because you have to start with those foundations, and without those foundations, you're going to get very, very lost.
So we will be sharing the presentation and calling out those really helpful steps that you created for us. Thank you so much. If there are no other questions, I think we're good. Alexis, thank you so much for this incredibly thoughtful and insightful presentation. This is a really lofty topic.
It is. It's a lot of information. And if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. I know this is a lot of information, and the goal is to make your life easier.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, I want to thank my colleague, Riley Legere, for helping to produce another successful virtual event. And we just got a question. Yes, we will have the recording available on our YouTube channel and our website, portlandregion.com. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank everybody who was watching today. If you're interested in continuing the conversation with Alexis, be sure to check your email for a follow-up message with links to the presentation and some great resources that she provided today. And if you are interested in presenting at Growth Basics for Business or know of an industry professional who may be interested, please visit our website, portlandregion.com, to submit an event proposal. And if you have any questions, our team's direct contact information is available on there as well. So with that, I want to thank you again for attending this morning's event. And we'll see you next year on February 24th for our next Growth Basics for Business. I wish you all a wonderful holiday